Mr. Mr. Christian, good evening, sir. Okay, welcome everybody. Good evening. I hope your day went well. It's another Tuesday of mind-blowing, mind-shifting, captivating day. Mrs. Treasure, glad to have you on board this evening. Hope you're doing okay. Mr. Paul Alice Sigwe, welcome, welcome. Good to have you here today. Welcome everybody. I hope you're seated. I hope you're ready with your pen and your open mind, because remember, for your mind to shift, your mind has to be open. So I hope you have your pen, your open mind. Mr. Christian, I salute you. I love your shirt. It's looking very okay. Welcome very much, sir. Mr. Ochuko Eniamo, I welcome you. I hope your day went well. Welcome everybody. For persons who are having network glitches, please do well to use the YouTube section. Chinemerem Precious, I welcome you. I hope you're doing okay. God sent Idoko, happy birthday again, and welcome on board. I hope you're doing very okay today.
Thank you so much. I appreciate.
Somebody else just came in. Olomachuku. Olomachuku. I cannot pronounce your surname, I'm sorry. But welcome this evening. Welcome, everybody. I hope you're all seated and ready. As we are ready to go, it's already 8 p.m. and we don't do African time around here. So before we go further, let's just do a little recap on what we learned last week. Can somebody just unmute themselves and possibly tell us what he or she was able to remember last week? Is that okay? Meanwhile, Ogali Lillian, welcome on board. Anybody, or is it that nobody can hear me? Okay, Miss Charity, I would quickly hand over to you. Then I would go back to the technical department. Thank you very much.
Okay, everyone. Good evening. Good evening. It's good to have you on board. Um, Thank you for joining once again. Please, if there is anybody you know that is supposed to be here, that is meant to be here and is not here yet, please remind them that we have started. Let your team members, everyone around you know what is happening here. Okay, so in the absence of
Hello, hello.
night, so please let's
Chacha, are you there?
jam our give him ovation. Thank you so much, Mr. Chris. The floor is yours.
Okay, good evening, everyone. How are we doing today? Oh, it's a
Doing very
wonderful,
great.
awesome day. Chacha, I'm still hearing your birthday voice. That's good. That's good. It was a wonderful thing to celebrate with you today in the office. Should I say kind of nervous or kind of disappointed that we are not very few persons to tell us what they learned. Are we holding knowledge here? Remember, the proof that you have learned is sharing. You share knowledge. Okay. Without wasting much of the time today, I'll be standing in for the MD, who is in another meeting, a serious meeting. Yes, and it's all for good. It's all for good. One thing here and the one thing the other place, and we are good to go. So today, quickly, we are going to look into something very, very critical that I don't know how many of us have been able to put in their best in doing it, that expected of all of us to have done before 2020. I don't know how many of us have been able to in. But obviously, when you look at the way things happening, expected of all of us to have done before 2020. 2020, been able to set in motion 2025. Believe you me, it sets the ball rolling. That means you're going to be left behind because 2025 started to set in motion 2025. Believe you me, it sets the ball. That means you're going to be left behind because 2025. So today, goal setting. The art of setting goals. We've heard about goal setting, setting goals here and there. But how many of us really have done justice to this? Not just oratorically, but having engaged in action to make sure that 2025 becomes a better year. That 2025 becomes a better year. So quickly, we are going to look at the art of setting goals. But before then, it is important we understand what goal setting is, or understand what goal is. I know many of us, we must have had have our own definition of what goal is. People define goals based on maybe what they have been through or what they have acted on, or perhaps what they learned from another place. Today, I define goal as the thought process. Goal is the thought process. It's something that has to, first of all, be in the mind. You don't just wake up and become. You wake up and decide, then you become. Not in the becoming that you have become. It is in the doing. And the doing starts from the mind, because it has to come out from the mind. It's inhabited in the mind. So it has to come out. It has to express itself. So when such is being expressed, we now call it a thought process. So goal is the thought process and physical activities. So it has to be something mentally. Then it has to be something that is physically engaged with. So goal is the thought process and physical activities you engage. So it's not something you just bring out and you start looking at it. It's not something that you just bring out and you immediately try to embrace it. No, you have to engage in it to increase your self-worth. To increase your self-worth. So as to be able to produce the value that surpasses your target. I hope I'm not speaking English. But if I'm speaking English, you've got to forgive me. I take it again. Goal is the thought process and physical activities. The thought process and physical activities you engage in to increase your self-worth so as to be able to produce value. The end product of a goal is value. If it doesn't produce value, it then means there is something that is not well arranged. It then means that something is not well in place. It then means that some things were not placed according to how they should be. So it is a thought process and physical activities that you engage in to increase your self-worth so as to be able to produce the value that surpasses your target. There must be a target. If there's no target, then there is no goal. Why there is to be a target? Target is like a yardstick to measure how far, to measure the result. Anything that is not measured cannot have a result. So for you to say this is a result, that means it has to be measured. It has to be measured, and there must be a target. Now, having understood what goal is, we can say that goal setting is the process of combining thought process with physical activities in order to produce a value that surpasses targets. In order to produce a value that surpasses targets. Now, in goal setting, there are so many arts we need to engage. But before I run into the arts, A-R-T, art, not A-C-T, art, A-R-T. Before we dive into the art of goal setting, I want you to understand that there are three components of a goal. When I mean three components, I mean there are three combinations that makes a goal what's achievable. There are spices, there are ingredients that when you mix them with the goal, it yields a result. It yields a substantial result, not just a result. Number one is vision. If you are with me, go to the inbox and write vision. 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 Is somebody there? Is somebody there? Okay. Okay. Joseph Oleka. Okay, thank you for that. Paul Alexi, thank you. Saying wealth creation. Vision is the foundation for what? For wealth creation. It is not a logical statement. Vision is not a logical statement. So suffice to say that you can't set a goal without a vision. We know that vision don't necessarily mean what you sleep and you wake up and you start seeing vision, or you say, okay, I was sleeping and I had this vision. No. And it's not something that is being seen with the physical eyes. You have to have a visual sight before you can be able to interpret vision. It's not something you wake up and see, oh, I'm seeing a vision. Oh, you look like this, you look like that. No, it's not it. Vision is not complete until sight is activated. Insight is fully activated. Anytime you define something, anytime you define anything, your brain tries to create an equivalence. Your brain tries to create an equivalence. Anytime you want to define something, okay, when we say, can you define your life? Do you know up till now, many people cannot be able to define their lives, yet they are living. Those ones are not living. Those ones, they are just existing. You are not living. If you cannot be able to define your life, you cannot be able to pattern it in a situation, in a way that can be harnessed, that can be written down, that can be penned down, that means vision is still lacking. Vision is who you are now by the reason of what you can see and the actions you can take. I come again. Vision is who you are now by reason of what you see and the actions you can take. Our MD has always told us that knowledge is the food of learning, and you can learn your way into wealth. You can learn your way into wealth. The doing that you become, the steps taken determines how far you become. How you journey inward determines how you can be able to stand outward, how you can be able to stand in the physical. So decisions create possibility. Now, when there is a vision, there is a decision. Poverty or wealth starts with decision. So goal setting is a decision. Goal setting is a decision. Goal setting is a decision. So remember, I said that there are three ingredients or three components of goals before we can now move into the art of setting goals. And one of them is vision. One of them is vision. Vision connotes direction, and it is directions that determines destination. When you have a bad direction, we can predict how you're going to end. We can predict your destination. Destination is a process. It is not immediate, but it is imminent. It is not immediate. You can define it, you can decide it, but it has to go through some processes, through some directions before it can be able to yield. When vision is involved in setting out goals, it is not necessarily meant to be understood or explained. You know, when you try to explain a vision, people you end up a mockery, or you end up a mockery because people will mock you. Okay, so you said you are going to be the president of Nigeria in 20 years' time. They laugh at you. Okay, so you said you can close so sales. They laugh at you because it doesn't have to be explained. There's this slogan in Nigeria that says you go explain tire. You keep explaining, oh, this and that. And they say, is that so? It doesn't have to be explained. And it doesn't have to be understood, but it has to be believed. You need to believe it. It is in the believing that you have the willpower to succeed. If you don't believe it, it's not going to come. So vision is not meant to be understood or explained, but it is meant to be believed. That is when you get results. That's why I keep telling people, you don't argue with people who have results. You don't argue with results. People don't celebrate the process. They celebrate the result. What were you able to achieve? What were you able to bring into life? What were you able to impact in the lives of people? That is what counts. Not the number of persons you met on your way, not the number of persons you gave food. No, it's the number of persons that you were able to change their lives, because it is their life that speaks of result. So number one is vision. Number two is reality. Somebody go to the message box and type reality. 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 When we say reality, some persons will be like, okay, let's face reality. Let's face reality with what is happening in Nigeria. Let's face reality. Nigeria is very hard. And you are facing that reality because you are the definition of your own reality. You define your own reality. Reality means to exist. To exist. Existence. Something that can be seen. It's no longer something that can be imagined. It doesn't end there. If it's not achievable, if it doesn't look like it's going to be achieved, then it's not reality. Then it's a dream. So one of the components of goal is that if there is a vision, it must have a reality. It is looking and staying on that imagination which the eyes can see. So reality is looking and staying on that imagination which the eyes can see. Before you can become the president of Nigeria, you must have a, when they say a political career, at least when we trace to the level of who you are, where maybe you can see, okay, let's look at what Goodluck Jonathan was able to achieve. He was once the local government chairman. From there, he became the what do you call it? The deputy governor. From deputy governor, he became the governor. From the governor, so there is, he's working on these realities of him becoming the president. So there must be a footpath. Then we can now count on the footprints. That is reality. So reality is looking and staying on that imagination which the eyes has seen, which the eyes has seen. The physical result you have is a sum total of what you fantasize all the time. So what do you fantasize on? What do you always think of? What do you always imagine? The mind is the storehouse of all possibilities. So what do you always imagine? What do you always see? What do you always think? What do you always envision? What do you always create? Because whatever you are seeing in your life has been created in the mind from the bulk of the thoughts before it is achievable. Then the last we have on that component of gold, because of our time, is what I call value. 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 And what is value? Value is anything that is useful to the user. Value is simply anything that is useful to the user. So you can have your, and your phone is not of enough value to you. You can have your clothes and they are not of enough value to you because you are not maximizing them. Imagine having an Android phone where you can't access the internet. Imagine having a brain, but you can't use it. So value is anything that is useful to the user. So if your brain is not adding value to you, then it's useless to you. If your phone is not adding value to your life, you can't access the internet, you can't get knowledge from it, then it's useless to you. Then it is not value. Value means usefulness. Usefulness. It is not called value until the user finds it valuable. So the components of goal, it must have vision. You must have vision. You must have vision. What vision have you? Vision supplies a sense of direction. The starting point of every man is vision. So for you to define that goal, for you to get that goal, for you to actualize that goal, there must be vision. Because that is the starting point. Every task is powerful when you have a vision. Every task is not just powerful, it becomes achievable. It becomes measurable. And when it is measurable, then the results can come out of it. In project, there is transaction. In visions, there is a relationship. At the level of project, it is the willpower. But when it comes to vision, it is faith. It is faith. So when there is vision, then we look into reality. And having known what reality is all about, that the eyes must be able to see beyond. You must not just be able to fantasize. You must know how to bring these things into reality. You must know how to bring these things into reality. If they cannot be felt, if they cannot be seen, if they cannot be laid hold of, if they cannot be traced, then I think there is a question there. Then we talked about value. Remember that value always returns back to the original source. MD will always tell us that money is not the value. Money is not the value. What you can be able to do in exchange of money is the value. What you can be able to do in the exchange of money is the value. So quickly, we are going to look at the art of setting goals before our time elapses. We're going to look at the art of setting goals. Is someone still here with us? The art of setting goals. The art of setting. The art of setting goals. I hope I can be heard. I hope I can be heard. The art of setting.
Yes, we can hear you, sir.
Okay. So the art of setting goals. Goals requires you to learn. Somebody say it. Goals requires you to learn. Goals requires you to learn. Goals requires you to learn. It requires you to learn. Yes, you must be able to learn. You must be able to learn. Okay? You must be able to learn. Because learning will help in not just growing your life, but in nurturing your life, in not just nurturing your life, but in directing your steps. That is why the Bible will tell you, in all your gettings, get wisdom. It is profitable to direct. And how do you get wisdom? It is in learning that you become wise. Ancient men, the Greek philosophers, they are men of learning, learned men. So if you are not learned, you find it difficult to create goals, because it is in learning that you become. It is in learning that you become. So number one out of setting goals is that it requires you to learn. Number two, you must have a definite target. You must have a definite target. So how many of us have been able to set our goals for the year? How much do you want to gather this year? Somebody is saying right now, sir, I have them in my heart. It's good to have them in your heart. I hope they are measurable. Don't pray and say, God, give me money. God is asking you how much. Everything in life you have in life, or you need in life, is laid on an open check. That was why he told Abraham, he said, look up to the sky. How many stars can you count? Can you see? As many as your eyes can see. That is the number of your descendants on this. And Abraham said, I see so many. I saw so many. I see many of them. I can't count them. Many shall you have. But God is a God of definite. So you must be definite. What is it that you want? What is the target? What is the target? So go back to the drawing board. You need cars. What type of car? God won't give you any car. You need Rolls Royce. Put it on the goal board. I need a Rolls Royce. You need 100 million. Put it there. 100 million. Wake up every day. Look at it. It is in the looking that you become. It is in the looking that the action takes place. Because the more you look at it, the more you behold it, the more you conform to it. The more you conform to it, the more you are likely to take actions. But there must be a target. What is your target? What is your target? So why goal requires us to learn, which is number one. It requires targets. It is target that requires action. It is target that requires action. You can't wake up to become. It is a gradual process. You wake up every day, you add to what you know. You wake up every day, you add to what you know. The world is going versatile, so you must be evolving. If you don't evolve, you will be dissolved. If you don't evolve, you will be dissolved. It is the evolvement. It is in your evolving that you evolve. It is in your evolving that you evolve. You involve in the process of what is happening. So if you cannot be able to evolve, you cannot get involved, and you will end up being dissolved. Then you need relationships. You need what? Relationships. You don't act on what you don't know. You can't become what you have not envisioned yourself of. You can't become what you have not projected yourself of. You can't become a wise man when in your companion it is fools that are there. I had somebody teaching the other day. He said there's this popular saying that says, when you have five wealthy friends, when you have 5 people as your wealthy friends, you become the 6th wealthy person. The person said no, he disagreed with that. He said, before you can become the 6th person, you must make sure that your thoughts carries with their thoughts. Not when they are discussing about 1 billion, you'll be like, I never hear of 10 million. I've never even seen 10 million. So when they mention 1 billion, you have a heart attack. So he said, if you don't flow with what the kind of thoughts they have, the kind of mentality they have, they will throw you out. So mind yourself when you are saying, if I see myself in the midst of 5 wise people, I'm going to become the 6th person. No, you must have done an underground work. What you do in your privacy matters more than what you do outside. Because people are not built outward. People are built within. That is why the Bible tells us that out of our belly shall flow. It didn't say out of the water we have taken. No, he said out of the belly, because the belly has to be filled. If it is not filled, nothing can flow from it. Nothing can flow outside. MD will always tell us that you cannot journey within and remain still without. No. When you journey within, you become more. So what you do in your privacy, in the privacy of your home, matters, and that is what makes you a reference point. Not what people say about you. So go back home, go back to your drawing board, look at it, set a goal. Where is your vision? Where is the reality? And what value do I need to offer to people? Remember, if it is not useful to the user, then it's not valuable. So whatever you're giving to people, you say, I need them, I want to be a millionaire this year. Yes, I agree with you. I agree with your faith. I say amen to your prayers. But what you are doing outside matters too. What you are doing with your time matters too. Then you must be able to set a target. You must be able to measure it for the benefit of those who were not here when we started. We started with goal. Define what goal is all about. And I want to define it again before we give you time to ask our question. We say that goal is the thought process and physical activities. So it's a thought process. It comes from the mind. It has to be conjoined in the mind. It comes from it. It's a thought process. It's like a surgery that happens in the mind. It's a thought process. Then learning with physical activities. It must have actions. It must be followed up with actions, which needs engagement. So it is the thought process and physical activities you engage in. There must be engagement. You engage in to increase your self-worth. So first is for your own self. The goal of the goal is, I'm speaking, I don't know whether this English is correct. The goal of the goal is to make sure that you increase in self-worth. Remember, talk is cheap. Depends on who is speaking. It is not anything that you say that people listen to. If it is all the word of God you have heard that will be able to save you, then you don't need to be going to church again. But every Sunday morning you prepare and go to church because you need to hear that word all over again. So the end product is to increase your self-worth. So as to be able to produce the value, there must be value. There must be value. Brothers and sisters, there must be value. I wrote something today on my Facebook page, and I said that there is something that requires a national conscience, and there's something that requires a personal conscience. That Two-Face, they are married another woman, Ned Nwoko married the seventh wife. Those ones, they are not a national discourse. It shouldn't be a national discourse. I think we should be discussing about things that has taken away the value of we, the Nigerians. Waking up to the news that you said allegedly has been sponsoring terrorism in West African region is something that takes away our value. Then when the value is there, it must surpass a target. It must surpass a target. Target is the reference point to what you want to achieve. Target is a reference point to what you want to achieve. Target is a reference point to what you want to achieve. I want to leave you with this saying before you ask your question. When a man has failed in his mind, his pocket suffers. When a man has failed in his mind, the mind is the engine room that determines what comes into the pocket. The mind is the engine room that determines what comes to the pocket. Please, somebody put that in the message box. When a man has failed in his mind, his pocket suffers. His pocket suffers because the mind is the engine room that determines what it is, what is in the pocket. So I think we've been able to achieve one or two things, starting from the goal setting, the art of setting goals, and the few other things we were able to touch. So people, I think it's now, and they tell us one or two things we're able to pick, and how you are going to implement. If you don't have a goal board, today is another day for you to do that. You can have your goal board, you can set in some things there, setting how much you want to get this year, setting the value you want to give to people, make sure they are measurable, make sure the targets are there, and make sure they can communicate value, make sure they resonate with your vision, and make sure they can be brought into realities. Thank you. Let me hear from you. Let me hear from you. Let me hear from you. Is somebody in the house? Let me hear from you. Is somebody in the house? Somebody who has gotten. Let me hear from you. Okay. Somebody wrote something in the message board is what we have, because the mind is the engine room that determines what is in the pocket. Okay, that's good. That's good. But remember, I said when a man has failed in his mind, When a man has fed his mind, his pockets suffer. So, who got value? Tell us. Put it in the message box. If you can't say it, ask your questions, and I am here to to do justice to that. And some persons are here to take it up, should in case I'm not able to do justice to that. Aloba, Kalo, Amoti, Woloma, Shinedu, Shinedu, you are here. Shinemerum Precious, God sent, Idoko, Jonathan, Efetoko. Oh, Joe from Benin. Am I right? Or Joe, is it from Benin or from Abuja? We have Joseph Leka, Lillian Okale. Lolly, you are here. Ask your questions. Paul Alisiwe, Toshi, Cynthia Dike, Mama Treasure is in the house. Wow, it's nice to have you. So let's have our questions, or you can put it. You can put in the chat box. I can pick it up from there. You tell us what you learn. You tell us your actionable points, and this new week we found ourselves and how you're going to get those things. If you already have a goal board, tell us what is in the goal board. Feel free to share with us, and maybe we learn from you. If it is in your goal board to be in Abu Dhabi by the year 2026, tell us. If it is in your goal board to get married by before 2025 runs out, tell us. We are waiting to hear from you. Okay. Tell us, we're waiting to hear from you. Unmute yourselves and let's hear what you have to say. Remember, value must be given. Value must be given. And anyone in the house? I hope I've not spoken vernacular. Oloma Chukwu said, I learned that if I don't evolve, I will dissolve. So I must always be updated all the time. That's good. If you are not updated, you will end up being outdated. If you are not updated, you end up being outdated. Okay, that's good. So, who learned one or two things again? Thank you, Oloma, for that. Who learned one or two things? Tell us. Okay, it says, I'm sorry, I just joined. I was finding it difficult to join initially, but I had your last point, which is setting goal. Okay, Mr. Carlo, after the meeting, I believe this meeting is always being recorded and it will be shared on the platforms. So you get everything we said here. But just know that we talked about goal setting and the art of setting goals. And we just we said there were three components of goals, which is visions, realities, and value. Visions, realities, and the value. And we say that goal is not something you wake up and you set. No, goal is a thought process. It has to be mentally formed. It's a thought process and it engages in physical activities. You have to engage in physical activities in order to increase your self-worth. So the first idea of goal is to increase your self-worth. If you are not increasing your self-worth, that means it's not really setting goal. You must increase your self-worth, and so that you can be able to produce value. So when you increase your self-worth, you produce value. Then your value must surpass your target, because target is the reference point to what you want to achieve. Target is the reference point to what you want to achieve. Mama Treasure said, I learned that the end product of goal setting is to develop my self-worth and produce value. Yes, I love that. Yes, the end product of goal setting is to develop your self-worth and produce value. So I have a question, please. Is our various values recognized and accepted to all or a certain class of people? Wow, it's a nice question. I keep telling people that you have not added value until your listeners are kings, until your listeners are men of substantial value. So, to answer your question, your values can be recognized and accepted, not to all people, but a certain class of people. That is why you need to keep growing. That is why you need to keep studying. That is why you need to keep setting goals. That is why you need to keep striving to become. You have not added value until your listeners are kings, until your listeners are people that command, that their words are power. So, but that doesn't mean that you can't start from where you are. No, you can start from where you are. Nobody woke up and they became. We all are a product of value added. Values can be gotten through reading. Values can be gotten through listening. Values can be gotten through engaging people, establish good relationships. So when you see yourself always talking to lazy people, no, that means you've not gotten enough value. You've not gotten enough value. So your value can be recognized, can be accepted to a certain class of people, depending on the types of person you are, on the class of person you are. If you want to talk to kings, you must be royal, R-O-Y-A-L. You must be royal. And how do you become royal? Learning, wisdom, diversification of knowledge. So when the Bible says kings and queens shall come to the brightness of our rising, that means that you are rising, you are engaging an action, and the action is speaking volumes. That is why it says from the brightness that comes from your rising, not the brightness that comes from your reason. No, rising. You are rising and is speaking volume. You are learning, you are producing, you are multiplying in knowledge, in wisdom, you are establishing good relationships, and people can be seeing you. That is when you are now, so the brightness can be seen from afar. So when Jesus was born, the Bible said the wise men, they saw a kind of star, and they were able to tell themselves, this star cannot come out if it doesn't mean a value has been added. So they started retracing, and they came with so many gifts, gold, ornaments, frankincense, and many of them. But when you study these people, they were not just ordinary people. The Bible recorded they were wise men. They were astrologers. They were men that understand time. They understand season. Okay, so I hope I've been able to answer your question. If you want to be among want to speak to professors, you have to gather and you have to eat a lot of knowledge. You have to learn. Learning is a noble character. Learning is a noble character. That is why in the words of the king, there is power, because he can't just speak useless words. No. Somebody again said, I learned that value is anything useful to the user, and the act of goal setting requires learning. Yes, you must learn before you can be able to know what to set goals. So you don't set a goal like, okay, I want to become a commissioner before the year runs out, when you don't even have a political career. You are still selling something in the supermarket, and you want to be a local government chairman. How? So it requires learning. Learning is a noble behavior. Learning is a noble behavior. Learning is a noble behavior, because it is intelligence that solves problems. As people that you learn. Somebody said, I also learned that I must have a specific target in everything I am doing. Yes, you must have a specific target. Don't ask God for a car. Tell God the kind of car you want. Don't ask God for a husband. Tell God the kind of husband you want. You want a smoker, you want a drunkard, tell God. Don't tell God, I want to be speaking to people. You can be speaking, even madmen are people. You can go and be speaking to madmen. Tell God the kind of people I want to be speaking to, the kind of people I want to have in my life, the kind of people I want to have in my possession. Now, okay, Jonathan asks again, so why is it that people sizes your status first rather than the value you are supposed to add to them or their business? Okay, why they are looking at your status, believe me that the size of a man is not what he actually looks like. We all know about we all saw what happened last year, early this year, about Zenko, the man from Obo, the owner of the techno franchise in Nigeria. You see the way he dresses, and if you don't really know him from Adam, you wouldn't believe that this is the Zenko that is being talked about. But when people size you by your status, it's not something you should be bothered about. It is something that means that what you carry, they can't be able to contain what you carry. They can't be able to contain it. Because wisdom is profitable to direct. Wisdom should be able to tell you that you don't size a man by his physical appearance. You don't size a man by his physical appearance. But remember, you must be able to dress well. If you want to stand with the world, you must be able to attract them. So, Sir Jonathan, make sure that when you are going to speak to people, you dress in your best. Put on the costliest shoe you have, the costliest watch you have, wear the costliest perfume, dress well. Believe you me, when you go to that meeting again, they can't be able to downsize what you can be able to do. I hope I've been able to answer your question. And make sure when going next, you look neat, you look presentable, you look like. And don't allow that inferior complex come on you. No. Just when they say no means next opportunity, remember that. No means next opportunity, and always expect no. Because it is on that expectation that you build to become better. It is on that expectation that you build to excel. It is on that expectation that you build to prove them wrong. There are so many people you need to prove wrong in life, but it's only your result that will speak. Okay? Remember to walk always towards your vision. The man with the vision is bigger than the man with a television. Because the man with a television We always watch the man with a vision tell a vision. Okay, I hope I've done justice to that. Is 9 o'clock already, and we are going to call it a day. I want to thank you all for being part of this meeting. I appreciate you. I thank you for bringing out your time to be here. The MD sent his regards. Remember, you are in for the best. Whatever value you have, we are here to harness it for you. Thank you, and God bless you. Do have a wonderful night rest. Admin, can you be able to play something on the background to entertain us before we leave? If you are here, please do justice to that. If you are here, please do justice to that. If you are here, please do justice to that. If you are here, please do justice to that. But if you are not here, we'll call it a day. So thank you for joining this meeting. Thank you. Remain blessed. I love you all.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. God bless you. Bye.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chris. That's a very wonderful section.
Thank you. All
All
right.
right. Everyone,
Before
I believe we all had a very wonderful section this evening. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Just so you know, next week, Tuesday, is another day, and on Saturday is our also very important training. Please be part of it and let your people know what we are doing. And invite everyone you can to be part of our trainings. Thank you so much for joining, and do have a good night rest. Good night, everyone.